familiar with, and some newcomers. So welcome, like Steve and Natalie and Barbara and Jeffrey and Monterey Trap. Thank you for coming in. So basically, if you don't know who I am, and you don't, maybe you know only partially about me, I will fill you in on just some stuff. Okay. I'm Casey. I've been doing this for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean, I have not only been a SaaS founder, but I've also been a course creator in my life. I've been someone who's, had to figure a lot of things out, from, going from being a broke actor, then into real estate, and then having sort of the market crash and fall and crumble within underneath my feet. And I had to sort of rebuild from that, and jumping into online marketing as that sort of thing to rebuild, and course creation. That I became basically a course creator, selling a course all about YouTube and YouTube marketing. I actually became a YouTube consultant. It was how to become a YouTube consultant course. That's what my first thing was that I ever put out into the world. Anyway, so I've been there, I've done that as a course creator. I tried, basically everything under the sun to try to sell my mid-ticket program, right? My YouTube course, and nothing worked until I started using webinars. And they worked so well that I wanted to figure out a way to automate that process. And so I started to create basically a tool with some developers that I met, and that tool became EasyWebinar. EasyWebinar is the all-in-one webinar solution. It does live webinars, just like you're seeing here, but it also does automated webinar funnels. And that's how it started, as a tool that I could use to automate that virtual handshake, that one-on-one personal connection, that interpersonal connection and indoctrination through a presentation that gets to know my audience. I get to know them, they get to know me, and it works really well. And so that was really, this has been my journey. And after we built that as an automated webinar solution, we quickly started adding live webinars and follow-up sequences and funnels and all sorts of stuff. And now it's just this wonderful platform for not only creating content, like fulfilling content, but running sales and keeping your customers around, right? So this is really what it's about. And I love the power of engagement and an automation combined, because I feel like engagement, we all need it. We need to make that personal connection. And if we could do that on an automated level, very quickly, then we can drive people into more community, more connection, right? And EasyWebinar, we've had well over 14,000 customers come through EasyWebinar. I've built and consulted hundreds plus webinars, and generating 8 figures in sales. And I guess my sales and scalability, my power is that I love scale and scalability systems that help business owners work less, create more impact, make way more revenue and money. And it just, the systems, though, they are designed to create an interpersonal connection. And that's what I personally love to do. So for those who don't know who I am, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I just got 2 kittens. I have a family of 3. There's a family of 5 of us. So we just got 2 cats, 2 kittens. So they might be squirming around here. And if they jump up on my back or something and I yell, just realize that that's because they're little kittens that have these, the nails. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's how today is going to go. All right. We're going to be doing a complete audit breakdown of some webinar funnels, right? We are, and I just want to preface this, that I can't get through everybody on this list, and I can't audit one person's full funnel all the way through. Please understand that I can't do all of that in one fell swoop in one go. But what I will jump into is I'll start to look at this. I'll start to see where things can be modified, tweaked, and refined to try to get that these funnels into more interpersonal connection, more indoctrination, and more sales, right? So that's what we're doing. We're going to be talking about how we're going to optimize them for conversions and scalability. And then at the end of this, I just want to let you know there's an opportunity where we have a cool offer stack that can be something that may benefit you. And if it does, you could definitely take it up at the end. But just being here, being a fly on the wall, if I don't audit your particular funnel, just take notes on some of the things I do audit because it will still apply to you. I hope that's okay. So yeah. So very first thing I am going to do is I'm going to share the screen that the audits are on. Is that okay? Are we cool to jump in? And you know, I want to check in on a few things. First off, let me ask you this: which style feels most like you when running a webinar? Are you doing live? You know, do you like the live experience, or are you interested more in doing the automate? I want to run it on autopilot, or do you like the mix of both? These are just some questions that I have because I feel like this could be really beneficial to understand your flow and what you're looking for, right? Maybe you're already doing the live webinars. You want to scale up something that's already working, or maybe you like the idea of running live webinars, turning those live webinars then into an automated funnel that you can drive traffic to, right? And start to sell without having to do all the live. Or maybe you like the opportunity of doing both. You know, that would be, just let me know which makes sense for you. I'd love to know. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen. 1 second. Okay, share screen, entire screen. We're going to go over here. And here you can see we have everybody's submission, basically, right? And with the submissions, we're going to start to go down the list. Yeah, I see. Okay, good. Thank you, Alex. Love doing live first, then making the recordings available. Gotcha. That's great. That's great. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Let me just go into here. Okay. Here we go. So now we've touched on some of these, and let me jump in and grab what we've actually taken notes on. So I want to just come over here because we've already chosen some of you guys, and the ones I'm going to work with are Natalie with Divine Mind Meditation, Jim from Cashflow Engineers. Here's Charlene, FinFit Solutions, Monterey has an EasyWebinar funnel, and Jeffrey, Measure to Success. Okay, these are the webinars we're going to go through. Okay, these are the ones we're going to be going through. Yeah, cool. All right, so let's jump in with Natalie from Divine Mind Meditation. And just so I'm clear, Natalie, I think that comes from, it is right down here. I think this is you, yeah? Center for, is this you, Natalie? I think you're here, right? No, that is not you. Okay. You are here somewhere. I'm trying to find you here. Hey, if I have moderators here who are with me, Mia, can you link me to where Natalie's, because I guess there's two Natalies on this sheet. So send me the Natalie who I am auditing today. And while you're doing that, I can jump over to Jim. So let's jump in and let's look at Jim's funnel. All right. Jim is cash flow engineers. Okay. And so let me just find Jim. One second. Let me see here, Jim. All time. Yep. Apply. Cash flow engineers. Here's Jim. Now, Jim, you know what we've done here when we've looked at your stuff. So, so some of the things that you had asked about, some of the issues, core leak. People watch the webinar but are not moving forward to book calls. Okay. Here are notes and fixes that we looked at. Okay, for you. Thank you, Divine. I don't know why it's not showing up on that sheet. Thanks, Natalie, for putting it up there. So this is some of the things. These are some of the things we've noticed. So webinar closing. The final 10 minutes should not feel like the end of a lesson. They should feel like a natural lead into the call. And audit the current CTA delivery. Does it feel optional, or does it feel like the next logical step for someone who wants the results described? So yeah, so when I'm completing a flow right into, I added the link to the audit sheet. Okay, I don't, yeah, thanks. I'll take a look if it's in here. One thing that I do at the end of some of my workshops that especially position a book a call is I have a few slides that really refer to you know, like as we've just pointed out, the inevitable next step. So like you know, what I typically do in my flow is, you know how we all have a flow, we have a framework. My last framework point is you need a mentor. And so I position this idea that, you know, if you're not getting people booking a call, then it may be because it's missing out on why they need to be communicated to, right? So again, the book a call is that inevitable next step to see. And I'm assuming what you're doing is you have a group coaching program, right? Let me know if you're here, Jim. Let me know. Is it a group coaching program? I'd love to know, because if it is, then you need to have mentorship at the end of your framework. Like, and finally, you need a mentor, someone that will work with you one-on-one to create aha and clarity in your business, right? That's how you want to kind of start to position that, and then from a mentorship, kind of position that as the core value of what they need to be learning. Then you start to seed. My team and I have carved out time for you to talk to you to see how we might be able to benefit you, and how we might be able to work together with you. This is, you need to position it like it's a strategy call, not necessarily a sales call. I don't know if you're positioning it as a sales call, but it needs to be positioned as a strategy call. Oh, can you hear me, guys? I just want to make sure. Yeah. If you can't hear me, you could try to refresh. That could help. Could be the internet, your internet, my internet. Sometimes those things can happen. Yeah. So that these are things I want you to start thinking about, is that the step should take them into some sort of like coaching or mentorship call, or something that's going to help them have even more clarity, and while at the same time it also positions what the program that they have an opportunity of getting into, right, and being able to do, right? So those are some of the ideas that you want to position. Okay. Yeah. Or you. Oh, thank you. You've you've uh, you've linked that. I think that's actually going to Charlene. So you wanna put that here for Charlene. Um, so the other thing are case studies and testimonials, right? So you want to have a success story or testimonial early in the webinar, probably 2/3 of the way through. And by doing this, this creates a belief that the process works before the CTA, before the final CTA. You start to see that this has worked for other people and it's going to work for you as well, right? That's really what we need to start positioning. Yeah. Um, and so anyway, that's what I want you to think about. And then the booking flow. How many clicks does it take to schedule? If it's more than 2, it's too long. So what I typically do when I am trying to get people into my calendar, so if you're not getting people directly into your calendar, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll drive them um, to a page, a schedule page. But on that schedule page, and I can actually show you. Let me see if I have it here. Casey Zeman, book your time. Let me see if this redirects to that so you can maybe see it. Okay, so on this particular page, this is a booking page. So I would drive people to this page from my workshop. In my workshop, I just explained to you how I would position that final CTA to join, but then I would send them into a page that explains the next steps, right? So I think it would be that you have a video that explains like, hey, this is what we're going to do next, right? So then I have the calendar link, right? And so I explain, here's the calendar, book your time in the calendar first. Yeah. And then underneath it, I would have testimonials, right? This is where you would highlight testimonials. And of course, you want to make sure that nowadays you'll have a disclaimer that says something like the testimonials presented are from actual clients and reflect their personal experience with our system. However, individual results may vary based on effort, marketing conditions, and other factors. These testimonials do not guarantee similar outcomes for all of our users. You're definitely going to want to have something like that because if because of how the FTC is reacting nowadays, right? But having testimonials that you've gotten permission to share, this is a great place to have them on, not only from the workshop, but then also on the page that you're sending them to. So you build out basically a page with the calendar link embedded in it, the calendar here. Now, what's great about this is that when you send directly to the calendar, you can get them to fill out the calendar, right? So they put their information into the calendar. I'm just going to do this. Delete once done, because I want to delete this off my calendar. I don't want to have this on here. But once you schedule the event, what we have going on here is a redirect happening from Calendly to the type form that we're going to be using to take people in through a survey, right? So we drive them basically from the calendar page, because that's we take them into one step, right? One step to where they can book. But then after that, that's when we serve them an application that helps them to know and us to know if they're a good fit. But if you sometimes put the application in front of the call drops typically. So what I would suggest doing is having the calendar in front, and then after the calendar, that is when you drive people to this survey. Does that make sense? How many of you have seen that before? How many of you are you gaining that? Are you understanding that? Jim, I hope this helps. And let me know, guys. Just put in the chat if this is resonating with you. If you understand that, I'd love to know. Just go ahead and put in the chat. So, yeah, I think the booking flow, that's really what we're talking about, right? Directly on the webinar replay or sales page to reduce friction. Exactly, right? Um, Here's some re-engagement campaigns that also make sense. Use email or SMS follow-ups within 24 or 48 hours. Okay, after the event is over, get SMS set up because and you want to make sure that you're driving people after the workshop into that booking, right? So you'll want to have a really decent follow-up that's just offer related. And I think a lot of people booking before application is better. Yeah, that's great, Tony. And Natalie is saying, is this to qualify or to help them engage? So it does both. One is that when they book, they engage, right? You're doing the last 10 minutes of the presentation that you may be going through. Let's say you have a 30-minute, 45-minute high ticket presentation, right? Where the goal is you're booking people on a call. There are two funnels that are probably the most important funnels that you run during a webinar, right? Nowadays, let me share what those are first, and then I'll tell you what most people are doing nowadays. So number one is a mid-ticket funnel, a mid-ticket offer, right? Anything like $997 up to two, probably anywhere from $500 to $2,000. That's a mid-ticket program, and that selling that directly off of a webinar is powerful. That's what you want to do. You want to land into that bucket if you can. That requires some things that I teach these methods, 6 steps to a high converting sales webinar. You need to really position the problem solution scenario and then have a good offer at the end that where it has to be a no-brainer offer first off, but then also you have to have some good bonuses that they can get where you're including scarcity and urgency, right? And basically that's how that flow works. That typically is an hour-long presentation. Sometimes it's a 1 hour and a half long presentation. Heck, I've even done presentations like that for 4 hours. Okay, but and my hair was huge, and I was like, it was a crazy time when I did those. But hey, those actually worked really well. The second type of funnel that works really well with webinars is a high ticket funnel, right? Where you don't need an hour. You can actually condense that to 30 minutes to 45-minute workshop that positions a book a call at the end, right? There's nothing to buy, but it positions still the framework that they need to understand that will help them achieve the result they need, but also why you are the one that's going to get them there, right? Through mentorship or through, some sort of service, what have you. This could be a service funnel, this could be a coaching funnel, and you're basically at the end of it positioning a book a call. Typically that's going to be like a strategy call, and the whole idea of the webinar is framing it to qualify the right people coming in, right? And so that question, Natalie, that you've had, is this to qualify or help them engage? It's both. You're trying to qualify them in the workshop. You want them engaged so that they almost see how the interaction between you and them would work when they commit to buying your coaching or buying your mentorship or buying your service, paying for your service, becoming a client, right? And so it does twofold. And so those are the two most popular and, quite frankly, two most the two types of offers that webinars work really well for. And again, no matter what maybe you've heard webinars are dead, they don't work, there's too much friction. It's actually, webinars can be, you can have too much friction in a webinar if you're selling a low ticket program. If you're selling a $27 bundle, then a webinar is unnecessary, right? However, what's very popular nowadays as well are paid workshops and webinars, right? So instead of offering the 27 at the end, you actually sell a webinar that is $27, right? They come to the registration page, they buy the webinar, and then they join the webinar. And so there's people are using master classes as low ticket entry points, right? Where now from the low ticket program or low ticket entry point of the master class, on the back end of that, that's where they pitch a mentorship, right? They qualify their audience by having them put their credit card in because they're joining a workshop that's going to give them aha, right? It's going to give them one level of aha, but then to be able to achieve the bigger result that they want, and there's a value gap between the two, they need to book a call, get on a strategy call, and do this, fulfill this thing, right? And so a lot of people are doing this, and they're driving traffic straight from ads, YouTube ads, Meta ads, Instagram, LinkedIn, and they're driving people straight to a workshop. I will let you know that EasyWebinar, by the way, we are launching our paid workshops starting, I think, in a week or two. So you'll be able to run paid workshops, and you'll be able to set up low ticket workshop experiences that where you could then drive people into a book a call. You can even sell them into a mid-ticket from that, low ticket to mid-ticket. All of that is qualifiers, right? Webinars are perfect for qualifying your audience, okay? We've had customers that have used it, and they say that the quality of traffic through a webinar is 280% better than a quality of traffic just hitting like a lead magnet. Because if they watch the webinar, they're indoctrinated. They're with you. They're on your track. They're following along. Does this make sense? You guys, put in the chat if this makes sense. Okay, put in the chat if this makes sense for you. Okay, let me know. Let me know. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey, Tony, Monterey. Yes. I appreciate it. Okay. Segment these messages, go only to those who watched but didn't book. So again, to close out with Jim, again, right after your workshop, your book a call workshop, you're going to want to, you can send people to a replay. And on that replay, your replay can be 2 or 3 days after. Hey, we were just on our live workshop, or it can be an automated one, by the way, too. Remember, for those who don't know, automated webinars and live webinars can function in the same way. So once that automated webinar is over, the follow-up sequence can send them to a replay page. That replay page basically will have that same video or maybe a condensed version of that video. And the call to action will be right on the side right away, okay? It won't be like on the other webinar where the call to action is timed based on when you mention the call to action, because that's how you should do it for the actual live event or that first event. A replay experience, you can have a call to action showing up right away, and it can be a condensed version of the live workshop, okay? And when I say live workshop, please understand I'm talking about live webinars or automated webinars as well, okay? Because think of the automated webinar as a live experience streamed in real time, okay? And that's their first event, right? So just think of it like that, okay? The actual webinar itself, right? And then you have a replay, right? So again, the replay, you can have a different experience on that replay page where the offer shows up right away. And then you in the follow-up sequences after the webinar is over, you're basically doing 2 or 3 emails driving people to the replay page, and you're also going to expire that replay page. So there's the urgency part. A lot of people wonder, how do you go from live to evergreen, and how do you have urgency still with all that? Well, that is one element, right? Where you can drive them as I said, to the replay page, and the first 3 days or first 2 days or three email sequences drive them to the replay page where you have the offer. After those 3 days, you now we'll take another 48 hours, just like we talked about, 24 or 48 hours after that sequence to drive straight to your calendar page, right? So that they understand this is the booking, this is what they have to do, right? Just, you have to hit them over the head on this, right? So first 3 emails can send them to the replay. The next 2, which will position, hey, we only have a few of these openings to work with me left. So, you know, we're ending for the month. So you have 48 hours to come in to book your time, to talk to a strategist, to see if this is going to be a right fit for you, right? So that's going to be that experience. Yeah, and as you can see, we even have it in here. Do you currently show limited availability for calls, like only 5 per week, like, or X per month, right? Like this. So yeah, this is a good example of how you can have these scarcity and incentives in an automated webinar by still having this in the follow-up sequence, right? Consider a fast action bonus too. If they book within 24 hours, they receive an additional session or resource or mini assessment. So again, in these last 48 hours of an email going out, you could do a last 24 hours where you're saying, if you haven't done so yet, come in now, you'll get access to my book, okay? Or whatever you may have that has that level of you know, of additional value. Does this make sense, guys? Put a thumbs up in the chat. Put a whatever, you know. Whoop, whoop. I don't know if we have an emoji for that, but you can do that if you want. Tony is saying, I really like the low ticket paid webinar idea as a lead magnet and covers the cost of paid ads. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it liquidates the ad cost. It doesn't liquidate all of it, but if you think about that you're offering, if you're offering a mid ticket on the back end and you collect their credit card on the front end, chances are the LTV, your lifetime value of your customer, is going to be higher, correct? Especially if you're doing on the back end a coaching or a high ticket program, you're going to have way more margin after you've spent money on ads by doing it that way. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes? Yes or yes? I love when people say that. Yes or yes. I mean, anyway, let's dig in. I wonder if Natalie, we're back. Okay, yeah, we're back with Natalie. So I'm going to open this up first. Yeah, I was wondering where this went. I couldn't find this. Maybe I removed it from the type form. Sorry, Natalie, if I did that. Anyway, let's dig in with yours. Is that cool? So let's talk about what, you know, where you had a problem. Yeah, I don't know where I did that. Anyway, it's on the document, so we can go through this. So here's core leak, right? Registrations are happening, but very few people are actually watching the webinar. All right, now that I get that. So expanded notes and fixes, right? First off, email sequence. So this is a show up rate issue, it sounds like, right? Who's with me on this? Natalie, you're here, right? I just want to make sure. Yeah. So does this feel, you get people registering, but few people are actually watching the webinar, meaning that they're not showing up for the webinar. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's what's happening nowadays with registrations, right? Registrations to show ups. We're having to do a little bit more work to try to get people to come to the workshop. And there are subtle tweaks and things that you can do that will help to get more people to the workshop. Tweak number 1, and we have this right here in email sequences, and we're gonna focus on some of these too. But tweak one thing that you can do is, and let me just see if it's in this list here. I don't see it. Yeah. So one thing right away you could do is add SMS. SMS text reminders. Now, I didn't do them for this event, obviously, and our show up rate is about 34%, 35%, right? So SMS will probably get you an additional 3% to 5% show up, okay? just through SMS, or even a ManyChat integration where you push reminders through Meta, right? Through ManyChat and through the Meta's Messenger or Facebook Messenger app, right? So that's one thing. Okay. Now let's jump into the email sequence. Here's some questions for you. Are emails only being used as reminders, or are they actively creating anticipation? Let me know. I would love to know. And I wonder if I could bring you up as a, do you want to come into the room? I think I can do that. Let's see. Coming into the room. Where are you, Natalie? I'm just gonna bring you in as a co-host. If you want to come in, you can totally come in. If not, I am. I can rock this on my own. But there you are. Natalie, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks so much.
Of course.
The emails they're kind of like one sentence. They're short. They are like trying to give a sentence here and there to build anticipation, but they're not long.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is a challenge. Is this cold traffic coming into this funnel, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So here is something that I've done. And I wonder if I have this up somewhere. I had this up. I wonder, where is it? Do I have this somewhere? So I'll just explain what I do for cold traffic into a webinar. And does this webinar, by the way, sell mid-ticket or high-ticket?
Mid-ticket.
Mid-ticket, okay. So a webinar still, yeah, very, very important, I think, for still positioning a mid-ticket program and high-ticket. You need a webinar. But here's the thing. So one is that the emails, if you can actively create anticipation, like you have to resell them into why they're coming in. One of the things that we do in a workshop, we didn't do it for this one, but we have a workshop that when we do it through Facebook or ads, we drive them from registering into the workshop to come to a thank you page that repositions why they're there. And I have them on that thank you page. There are certain things they need to achieve, right? I give them something like a worksheet that if they bring it to the call, they'll have more clarity around the problem that they are trying to solve. Okay, that can be a thing like an audit worksheet or something that will help them to get the aha, right? It will encourage them to come to the workshop because you're giving them something. There are a few other things you could do here, though, right? Another is what we call a show up bribe, or a show up incentive. So once you can give them a worksheet that they'll fill out on the call that will help them to get more clarity. That's number one. Number two, mention to them when they show up to the workshop, I also have a secret bonus that I'm going to be giving to you by coming to the event and staying to the end, right? So it could be and we kind of call this a show up bribe. Some people give it away at the beginning of the workshop as well. But I sometimes like to do it closer to the end of the event, and then oftentimes I do that. I give it away at the end of the event, but at the same time, when I'm starting to make my offer at the end of the event, I try to separate those two moments, right? So I don't confuse the two moments, right? You have a delivery of the thing that you want to give them. That can happen in your presentation as you and maybe it's coming to the end of your framework. You know how you're probably teaching a framework or a flow, right? Maybe on the final flow point before you make the offer, right? You're like, and by the way, thank you, by the way, for being here. I just want to remind you, here's that freebie that we talked about. You could do it there, or you could do it at the very end of the workshop after you've done Q&A and if you've tried to drive people into the offer itself, right? You could test both of those options, but what we're trying to solve with that is the coming to the webinar, right? So just realize that having sort of a show up bribe can help drive more people to the workshop, okay? And then another thing that we do, not only, you know, so the thank you page is one of the most underutilized pages, right? Having just a static image on a thank you page doesn't really do it justice, because what you're wanting to do on that thank you page is to, you have to resell and remind them why they're going to be showing up, right? So here's why you're going to want to show up. You know, you'll be able to achieve X, Y, and Z. You can even on that thank you page, by the way, have a testimonial reel. One thing, God, I really want to show my funnel here. Where is that fun? Is this it? Oh, no. I really want to, let me see if I can find this while we chat. What do you have on your thank you page? Just so I know.
I forget now. In the past, I had a testimonial video, and I think I need to check it. There's so many pieces to the funnel that, and then yeah, I keep changing things. So
yeah, which obviously, you know, you're changing things because, you know, you want to tweak and refine, but you do want to notate when you're doing those. So I'm going to just share with you. Do you see my screen here still?
yes.
Okay. So you know, the design of this page is not my favorite. I think it does the trick though with what I'm trying to achieve. But when people register for this workshop, you know, I get their SMS, I register them, and after they register, they come to a page where I have a video, right? On this video, for me, this is positioning, just so you guys are clear, I'm driving them to this event, which is live, but it could also be automated. But on the thank you page, I'm positioning what they need to do next, which is like, hey, thank you for registering. Here's what you do next. Download the worksheet that you'll use at the event, right? I say save the date in your calendar. So by saving the date in their calendar, now that also is another way for them to be reminded of, hey, this is what you need to show up. And then here's the other thing I do. In this video, I position that why EasyWebinar is important for them to have success with webinars, and I pre-frame them to get a 7-day no credit card trial straight away. I say, here's what you want to do. Get this. There's no credit card. Just sign up for EasyWebinar. You'll need it because what we're going to be going over in the workshop, you'll be building out a webinar in real time with us. So this is my example, of course, but you have to think about what it is that you could be giving or even positioning off the thank you page, because the thank you page, as I said, is one of the most underutilized pages. Think of it as it could be an OTO, you know, a one-time offer page, right? With the calendars and things like that, right? Again, though, you know, you can have more sticky moments here off this page to get them to show up. That's another thing I'm going to mention is, are you running your webinars live or automated?
Automated.
Okay. Now, the other thing about an automated webinar is that, you know, with EasyWebinar, depending on how you've scheduled it, you can do the just-in-time event where an event is showing in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So, and I'm not sure if you're using that or not. You are using that, but people are still not showing up. Huh. Well, I think if that's the case then, and you're driving them to cold traffic, right? Driving cold traffic in. So if that's the case, then, but they're registering, you're saying.
Yeah. It's like they like the ad and whatever it's saying, but maybe because it's kind of abstract, it's energy work. Yeah.
So let's see. So if we're coming in here.
There was a problem with email delivery that took some time to fix.
See, but this should bring them straight into the room. Like you see how I'm now in your event. And I love that I see your image. I see your, the video of you. Well, that's really important. But I think, for those who come in schedule time in the future, or maybe it's 15 minutes. I did see that your thank you page, there wasn't anything there. So what I'm thinking, because this is an event that would be starting in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I think try to build out that thank you page a bit more with having sort of like maybe a customer testimonial reel, like have something like, hey, thank you for joining, or thank you for registering. Here's what's going to be happening. You're going to have your webinar will start pretty soon. You could have just in time on here and not the other pre-scheduled events, and just track that. Just do the one schedule option. And by doing that, let me just why is everything signing out? Sign in. There we go. So yeah, let's go back into that lander. So instead of these two sessions, you just always have the next available session happening, right? And if that is the case, then then they're being driven straight into the event itself, or they come to the thank you page. And I think on the thank you page is where you'll want to position, as I said, the testimonial, a reason, refining, re-mentioning why they should show up, and think of a show up bribe and possibly a worksheet that they can have on the call, right? Now, because you have an automated webinar, it might be better just to drive them straight into the event and say, off the thank you page, just say, when you show up to the event, I have a freebie that I'm going to help you with creating clarity right away with this free gift, right? So that's getting them now to show up to the workshop itself, right? So yeah, I would say that happens off of here, right? So that's what I suggest, like something that shows up right away when I come into the room, and so anyway, that's that experience. I think that's the goal. We're trying to get more people to come in. And here, thank you page for reference. I think it's the same thank you page. Yeah. I think I have that up already. Okay, good. So that's what I would suggest. But let's go back just to a couple additional things that I wanted to mention. So, so here we are right here. Now, if you had told me, Natalie, that you had here's something else to test. Okay, I want to just give this to you. Sometimes having a longer nurture on the front end of a cold webinar is a good thing, right? Obviously, just-in-time webinars, you get more people coming into the workshop. If you're not having that happen right now, then that can be solved through some of the things we just shared. But once you get them into the workshop, if they're not buying, or if they're dropping off the workshop, some of the things that you could be doing are, number one, you could be taking a longer runway of when people register to when they can watch. So what I sometimes tend to do is like, as an example for that webinar that I showed you, this one, right? This one, I'll take a 4-day runway, meaning that they register, right? They will register for this event. Let me just bring this on. But it will be 4 days before they can watch it. And yes, you could do that with automated webinars, just like live. So, you know, they register by clicking register, and then it will show them, you know, X amount of time. There'll be like see how this one is a week from now. You can set these type of schedules up for automated webinars too. So you can take you can let them register for a session in the future, right? So let's say 4 days into the future. And what you're doing, but when you do that, is you're taking a longer runway to warm up your traffic before coming to the workshop. And so in that, after they've registered, the thank you page, you still do all the things that I mentioned about off the thank you page that we talked about. But beyond that, now you have reminders that are actively creating anticipation. And another strategy that goes even deeper than that is to add pre-webinar emails that include short 1 to 2 minute videos that, you know, let's say you have a 5-step framework. You take 2 or 3 of those frameworks and you talk about the problem and you myth bust the problem by giving them the solution in those videos. It's like you're basically taking preceded content that the webinar shows and you're giving bite-size, basically nuggets of value before the workshop starts, right? And so you're myth busting, you're creating content that basically busts myths, right? Or and you could do that 1 or 2 or even 3 times. This particular sequence that I showed you, once you register for this, you'll get emails, you know, after you'll get an email right away with my indoctrination 1 video. Okay. I have 3 indoctrination videos that happen after this workshop. The first one, it touches on problem 1 that I talk about in the call, and it highlights and it talks about that solution, right? And I say, but I'm going to be going into more detail on the webinar itself, so stick around. Come to the workshop. The next one talks about myth number 2 that I'm solving, right? Everybody thinks that you know that you need to educate on a webinar. It's not about education. It's about aha moments and transformation. And I'll share more about that on the workshop, right? So you're seeding these ideas before coming to the workshop. And because you're doing this over a series of days, what's happening is you're warming up this cold traffic so that by the time the workshop starts, they've already sort of been, you know, indoctrinated by you. And they're more apt to generally show up to the workshop because now they know you, right? They want to learn from you. And the stick factor of showing up to the workshop is oftentimes better because you're not just a random person at that point with them, right? Mm-hmm. You know, one thing that we've had a client do before is they've run a meditation straight away from the workshop. You know, they've done a yoga class or meditation. They've done it. I've seen a couple ways. We had this woman, Alana Cavalia. She took she actually, off her thank you page, she did a 5-minute yoga, like sort of just like it was kind of like a meditation. It was like a yoga / meditation, and she did it off the thank you page, which I thought was really cool. And by doing it off the thank you page, she got more people sort of excited about, oh, this is the experience that's going to be happening on the webinar, right? And so I'm mentioning it because you could be doing these indoctrination videos they could be a series of pre-meditation videos that then lead to a problem, you know, highlighting the problem a bit more with a larger workshop, right? You know what I'm saying? You could, so somewhere you could make it, you could have a variation is what I'm saying. But definitely, you know, think about how maybe you can precede with some of why you need to have, they need to see your essence before the workshop is my thinking. And if you're running cold traffic, maybe taking a longer runway could benefit you in that way, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. I really like that idea. I was thinking I had to flesh out at the after sequence, like put these little videos, but I really like this idea of doing it before. And yeah, so I want to definitely do that. One thing that I wanted to ask is, you know, I don't really like tricking people and making them think it's live, or even like I just feels more comfortable to let them know that it's like an introductory, or, you know, and it's an introduction, that they're going to get everything, a bunch out of it, but that it's an introduction. So those two things, like, I just feel better to be straightforward about that.
Here's
about
what
not
I think that's awesome. Here's what I say.
Yeah.
With our software, we've set it up to be it streams in real time. So what I tend to tell people is to position that idea and thought like, hey, this is a workshop that's streamed in real time. So if you miss some of it, you know, if you come late, you'll miss some of it. Because if they show up, you know, 20 minutes, they register but they show up late to the workshop, it doesn't start where it left off. It's streamed in real time. And if you want to stay in your truth on that, you can feel like you can say, hey, this is a streamed in real time workshop, you know, or it's a pre-recorded streamed in real time workshop. So the whole positioning is you still want them to show up, because if they come late, they won't, it's not a replay video. This is not a video where they can come and watch at any time, pause it and go back and, you know, eat a bowl of spaghetti and come back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it's the, how it's consumed, you want to position maybe that, and then you can stay, you know, with high integrity. You're not trying to dupe them. I never suggest saying it's live when it's automated. I would always encourage you to say, you can always say that this is streamed in real time, right? That's one thing you could say. Another thing that I oftentimes do for automated webinars is I will position the idea that I'll position that, hey, if you're at the beginning of the workshop, I'll say, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. Hey, there's going to be a point where we will have common questions that we answer at the end of the workshop. If you have a question during the workshop, feel free to ask at any time. And if we don't have an answer for you during the workshop, or even during the common question part of this workshop, don't worry, someone from my team or myself will reach out to you with a personalized response in the next 24 hours. And by doing that, Natalie, a lot of people wonder, like, well, no one's answering my questions as I'm asking them during this automated webinar. Well, if you precede and position how they should be connected, then they won't have a question there, right? That will be you kind of lay it out in the front, and you say, hey, don't worry, someone will be responding to you, whether it's on this call while you're here. At the end, you'll get some sort of response, maybe through the common questions, or if you have a personal question, don't worry, someone on my team or myself will be reaching out. And that's how we have ours. Our automated webinars are set to go right into our help desk, right? And so just realize that you can do some of those things. Holy moly, I know, gosh, we've already been an hour in, and I have so many more to do. But there's more, Natalie, that we could talk about. Yeah, as you can see here, we have, like, what I'll do is I'll get this to you, okay? I'll get this to you Yeah, and again, we can highlight some of how you might be able to benefit from. Maybe this is not, by the way, the deepest dive. This is a relatively shallow dive, but we do deep dives, guys. And Natalie, I just want you to be clear. Like we can go much farther into this, but we'll position that. But I know that Monterey is having to leave. And I thought, if we can we go into Monterey? Let's just do yours very quickly, if that's okay. I know you have not a lot of time, and I talk a lot, and I apologize. Would longer runway plus email plus warm up GIT be a good strategy for Natalie? Exactly. Just in time, and a longer runway. She can test out both, Tony. She could, because you can do both from the platform. You can have a just in time or a 4 days into the future. You can say, or what sometimes I do, and God, Tony asked a really great question. What sometimes I will do is I'll have a direct instant replay and 4 days into the future. So with EasyWebinar, you can set up these instant replays, which are basically on-demand events, right into the event, right? There is no waiting 5 minutes or anything like that. I go straight into the event, instant replay. And then the other option is like into the future for 5 days. And if they come into that one, the 4 days, you can actually see if they're showing up and they're sticking around, and you can compare the two. So you can say, oh, instant replay, they're coming directly in, and you can see what they're doing there. So yeah, you could also do that as well. So let's dive in. Thank you for linking this. Ooh, this is beautiful. First off, artwork on here, stunning. And it drives me to wanting to take an action, because it's just like right into it. Let's look at some of the core leaks. So high show up and watch rate, but very few conversions into buyers. Okay. Can I bring you in, Monterey? Ooh, hold on one second. Invite people. Hold on one second. I know you have to go soon too. So, where are you? Here you are. Okay, I'm gonna make you a co-host. Feel free to come on in, and you don't have to. Okay, I can try this without you in here. But some of the questions I was going to have are, what's your price point? That's going to be the first question that I sort of start off with. What's the price point here that we're talking about? Hey.
Hi, I'm not in my normal room. I'm in my work office during lunch breaks, so I don't know how this camera will be, but
oh yeah, no worries. It's totally fine. That's good. Well, thank you for coming in. Is Monterey your actual name?
It is.
Oh, I love that. And I also love going to Monterey, having someone who lives in California. Monterey is really cool. I love to go there. So let me ask you a question. What's the price point of your program?
Normally $1,200, but for the webinar watchers, it's $888.
Okay, that's a good price. Yeah. That's a good price. Numerically, it's if you believe in astrology, the 888 is these are good numbers. So, but very few conversions into buyers. Can I ask you what you think the problem might be?
I feel like I've tried and tested so many things over the last few months that I am genuinely uncertain. I don't know. I've tried various different pieces. I've re-recorded it, tweaked it, done short, done long, done. I don't know. I genuinely don't.
Okay. Well, this is a, I will say this, that oftentimes creating a sales funnel that really works is kind of a marathon sometimes, and it's not a sprint. And sometimes it takes those, tweaking these moments, but being able to look at some of the data to know what we have to tweak. So if you know people are showing up and you know that they're sticking around to the end, or if you know there's a particular point where drop off occurs, you know, these are all, you know, things that can help to improve the offer, improve people coming in, such as maybe the people that are coming in are not necessarily the right audience, you know, they are active and or like maybe hyperactive, but they're not necessarily taking the action. Or, you know, there are a few things that we've kind of put together. But again, going through the webinar, like this is where we need to go really just through your webinar completely and show you where we feel like points of change can happen. So let me ask you, does the pitch feel like a sudden shift from teaching to selling?
It definitely used to. In my past few, I've started where I mentioned it earlier in the webinar, say, this is also what I teach in my signature course. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but for now, let's focus on this thing. And so I try and give a lot of value at the very beginning, and also just like kind of finding that good balance of like vulnerability where I'm talking about what they are going through and how I've gone through it. Yeah. And that I understand it, but then also briefly solving little small problems that they have to kind of show that the beginning framework does work, and then talking about the actual framework further. So I do talk about it early, but it doesn't, I didn't think that it felt like a really sudden shift personally.
Okay. Well, so the first off, how are you doing? Are you good? Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Because this can be challenging, like putting these things together, and it's, you know, it's so I totally understand if it's been, you know, a feat to try to find the right thing. And there's a few different ways to skin this cat, so to speak, right? One thing that we can think about is, let me ask you, do you do any future pacing, like what your life would look like after applying what we've learned, you know?
I do that in 2 different parts. So the whole webinar is an hour long, and I do it in 2 different parts in there.
Okay. And okay, so there's that. So if you're doing that, then that means that you're positioning why the value is more important than the cost that they're going to be spending on this, right? You're anchoring and showing the value is here, cost is here compared to this. If you have these value, if you do this, this is how enriching it will be for your life, and you'll be able to do X, Y, and Z, and it's tied basically to why this amount here is minimal, because by achieving this is achieved right away, right? Or, you know, within a certain point. It's something that is connected, right? Try to connect those two together, right? Anchor the price to to what they'll be able to achieve once they achieve they come into your program, right? And how and that's number one. You know, the other thing you could do is break down every element of the offer and assign a dollar value. Are you doing that also?
I am. I have. So mine is not like me facing the camera. It's me voiceovering as I do a presentation. And so on one of the slides, I don't go through every single bit, but I do have a very detailed dollar amount outlined that amounts to about 9 times what I actually.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm charging for the course.
Okay, that's good. And what are some of the bonuses anchored in some of the pain points still? Like, as an example, when I have an offer, and some people, you know, when they want to know, they want to improve their webinar, my program is here, improve your webinar, right? But then bonuses can be oftentimes try to get more, you need more traffic, you need an automated content marketing strategy. You know, it's like things that help to drive in people from to drive traffic into the webinar, right? So it's like they still need that too. So do you find that the things that you're offering as bonuses are tied to still what they are needing?
I believe so. I have 4 primary bonuses. One is a community that I'm in every single weekday to answer any questions.
That's great.
Another is a custom kind of Notion, full multi-passionate Notion planner for them.
Yep.
Another is, I'm on the spot, so my mind is a little blank.
Okay. That's okay.
But I update so they have lifetime access to everything I provide, but I also update it every 6 months with new things I learn.
Nice.
And then the last one is a whole additional module specific. So this is like 4 multi-passionates, but I have a whole additional module on passion stacking to create an income that supports supports their hobbies and themselves. So those are my 4 main bonuses that I offer with it.
Okay. Those sound like good. Those sound like good bonuses. And again, we could obviously, it's like being able to run like a full-blown audit is challenging. Just like in here.
No, I believe you.
But, I would love to geek out on going through your workshop. And so just a couple other points, and you may be doing this, anchor against everyday costs. So people spend more on common expenses, like this is $2.50 per day, or 30, whatever, right? And, instead of feeding that bad habit, why don't you try my good habit and it's cost less. You know what I mean? It's like that type of thing. So benefit clarity. Instead of listing features, spell out the transformation. Maybe you're doing this, right? 6 calls equals weekly guidance, so you never feel stuck or lose momentum, right? So it's like, that's another suggestion of convert, helping to convert, right? You show the benefit of the benefit and the transformation that they can achieve by with every feature, and so maybe see if that can be found anywhere in there.
Okay.
Are people clicking on your call to action at all?
A lower, I think it's maybe 12%, but when they get to the end, if they stay for an additional like 20 or 30 seconds, it redirects them.
Okay. I see. Yes. You're redirecting them to the sales page if they stick to the end. And even that, they're not buying off the sales page, huh?
I get people who are looking at it for a long while, but.
Okay. Add a call to action button above the fold on the sales page. Yeah. So some things around, again, I would love to look at all of this stuff with you. So a call to action button above the fold on the sales page, that could be a benefit. Embed the checkout form directly under the webinar replay. Now that actually, we don't have that with EasyWebinar yet, but sometimes you can do that with other platforms. However, I will say this, that paid webinar workshop I'm talking about, we are going to have an option to have a checkout button in the webinar room itself. And then also with that, you can also have it on the replay as well. It's not live yet. But if you're using an external page builder right now for your replay, sometimes you can add those shopping cart directly into it, right? What are you using for your cart?
Kajabi.
Kajabi. Okay. So Kajabi, you could definitely put a replay page on a Kajabi page and then probably have an embeddable checkout on that particular page.
And that would be better than sending them to because I have a CTA sending them to the full sales page under the replay.
Yeah.
It would be better to have the checkout there.
You can try, it's something to test out whether, whether that's going to improve the conversions. But to be honest with you, what I'm sensing is that there's a bit of a gap of messaging, of like the audience that they're interested, but there's some sort of gap there between being interested and and them feeling that need to actually take the program because of the problem or pain that they're experiencing. So to me, this could be probably more of like a messaging and positioning, possibly. And because at the end of the day, if someone is ready to buy, they're ready to buy. If they feel they have, you can solve their problem, and you are talking to them about what their problems are, then they're ready to go. So this takes me into this idea. So there's a method that I teach called the webinar sprint method. And that method is running a series of live webinars before going evergreen. Now, maybe you've already done this. Maybe you've run a ton of live webinars. I don't really know. But I would always try to run a lot of live webinars and then shoot for a 10% conversion rate off of those live webinars first before going automated. But do you know if what your live webinar sort of conversions are?
I did something similar but different. I did a kind of sprint launch, but I ran it through Kickstarter for a reduced price.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what my conversion rate was, but I had 17 people sign up for it, so it felt good. But
yeah, okay. I think that's great. What I think you should do is, you have this funnel running. I would consider taking the same funnel, cloning it, because you can clone it within EasyWebinar as a live webinar, and start to be honest with you, run it live. What happens when you run it live? And I always suggest running it for like a 5-week series, 4-week series type of thing. Like, you don't have to do this for months and months and months, but take 4 weeks, run a live webinar, and see what comments are coming in your live webinar. Even if you're not getting buyers, you can still find out common questions that are occurring. And because in the back end of EasyWebinar, all those comments are saved. And so you can go and collate some of the common questions, and maybe you'll uncover some problems that they have that you didn't think you were answering in the solution that you're trying to give. And so if you go and you start to do this more, not only do you know if you convert, if the offer converts, but moreover, you're getting data. You're getting data around how to solve it. Because if you're just like, you're just like out there and you're like, you keep making the same offer and no one's buying, and you're not figuring out a way to solve it while you're doing it, then you're going to get really frustrated, and you're going to want to like walk away, right? And that's not why you're here. That's not why you're doing what you're doing, and that's not the impact you want to create. But I think the better way to do this is run a webinar, think scientifically, look at the data of comments, see what people are asking, ask questions during the workshop, polls and things like that, asking them where they're at in their journey, ask them. And the brilliant thing about a live webinar is I can always say, guys, let me know if this makes sense. Does this resonate? Does this resonate? It's probably going to be your best phrase that you put out there. Or give me a thumbs up if this makes sense. Or is this landing? Are there things that I'm not answering that you need help with? By doing that, you start to feel like you're uncovering the right problems for them through this organic means, and you're also staying even more connected to them. And then once you finally have a webinar that converts 10%, right? Conversion of people that are at the offer, when you make the offer, 10% of them buy, right? Your offer works. You can take that presentation, your best presentation, after you've refined it a little, and put that into an automated funnel, right? Your problem is not people coming in. That means your branding is on point, your messaging is on point for how they're coming in. It's now about what you can do in the workshop to create buyers through answering the questions that they have, or fixing the problems they truly have. I think that might give you some things to maybe think about. I know you have you're positioning the multi-passionate ecosystem. Like for me, as someone with ADHD, like I have a million passions, right? So I actually love this idea, right? I love this idea. And I'm curious about how, again, I want to, forgive me, I haven't gone through this workshop, right?
You're totally good.
Right? But if I go through it, you know, like, I'm sure you're talking about ADHD, or maybe people that have like multiple things that that they're interested in, but sometimes they feel overwhelmed, or sometimes they, you know, they don't know how to knock off the list of things that they have, right? People with ADHD, we have this problem of like, we have all the things we want to do, and then it's overwhelming and we do none of them, right? We look at this board of like mess, and we're like, what do I do? And maybe you are in here giving tools, and I don't know if you're doing this, but maybe you're giving tools on, here's how to solve, here's how you can actually check things off your list. And if you're checking things off your list, you're getting more done. You're finishing these passion projects. You don't have all these half-built bridges anymore, right? And you just feel way more rewarded in your life. You are coming out of your shell. Like, I don't know if any of what you're teaching touches on that stuff, but I'm only saying that because, you know, when you start to do live webinars, you uncover the actual thing. You uncover the thing that they're really feeling. You know what I mean? And so, so yeah, does that help at all?
That helps a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And we'll get this to you. I mean, there's all these other things that we suggest, right? Like, like there's technical things that you can do. Fast action bonuses. Yeah, someone said fast action bonuses. Where should fast action bonuses be placed in the webinar? At the end of the workshop is where you put a fast action bonus. You know, when you're making your offer and pitch, that's where you put the fast action bonus.
Mine's at 45 minutes in, and then for 15 minutes I answer common questions.
Yes, so it comes, that's exactly right. Like you can, you when you're answering the common questions, oftentimes you can have your offer showing right there, right on the page. Your offer's up, and now you're answering common questions about that offer, right? That's typically what it is. But again, some of these things, I will get you some of these things. Okay,
I appreciate it.
And unfortunately, I don't know, guys. We're already an hour and a half in. Oh boy. I had more. You know, I had like 3 more that I wanted to get done, and you know, it's just, I get so caught up in like in the one problem, one thing I really want to dig in. I want to go a mile deep, and I kind of go, you know, I'm 3/4 of a mile deep here. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I think we're going to have to call it for today. But I've enjoyed this. I find this to be remarkably rewarding for me, because I want you to be able to create the life and make the impact that you are making in this world. That is my biggest and my biggest hope for you. And again, honestly, this is going through these things. I'm hoping that some of them are getting you closer to that goal. I'm going to share this again because we're running out of time. Here we go. Because we're running out of time, I wanted to, you know, we may do this again. If this was helpful, please do let me know. Put in the chat, yes, this was helpful. And I think we may do this again. But it's so hard for us. I just want to be clear. It's really hard and challenging for us to do a full-blown audit, you know, for everyone. So what I've told the team to do is we've decided that we wanted to make an offer for you guys today to get a full-blown audit, okay? There's 2 sides of this. One is you can actually come into EasyWebinar and be a customer of ours. If you're not an existing customer yet, you can come in and we're going to give you this massive discount on what we call the professional plan. And the professional plan is where you have live webinars and automated webinars combined. Okay. You can run unlimited live and evergreen webinars, unlimited webinars. You have 250 live attendees for every live event you do and 500 automated webinar attendees. Okay. And so this is for those who are not yet EasyWebinar customers, or maybe you're in the trial phase of EasyWebinar and you're like, you know what, I want to get this deal, because we don't make this deal everywhere. The other option, okay, the other option, first off, this is the first one, okay. And by the way, with this, let me just be clear. When you get the professional plan with this offer we're making, you're also getting a one-on-one webinar performance audit. So all the things that I showed you we just did, we're going farther than that, okay? We're going beyond what I was able to give you, okay? I know that's like, I mean, I hope that makes sense. Like I can give you a lot, but without going through every step of your funnel, I'm limited, okay? I'm limited. Yeah. Yes, we will share the doc once the workshop concludes. Okay. So I'm limited to what we can do, but when you come on through, this normally costs $1,000. To be honest with you, the value is way higher, because any little micro change can increase a conversion. 1% increase in conversion can be the difference between hundreds of dollars off of a webinar and thousands of dollars off of a webinar, right? And that can put those two, it can completely change the trajectory of how your webinar performs. One small tweak and refinement. And we're talking about doing an audit where we can change and more than just 1%. Our goal is that you can get, you know, if you're not performing now, we're going to get you to 10, trying to get you to 15% conversion on your workshop. And we're hoping this audit will do it. And we've seen it work for other people. We've seen the power of these audits really. We work for various customers. We've done audits for customers that are doing, you know, are doing hundreds of thousands a year, all the way to customers that are doing 8 figures, right? We've done a full-blown audit for Amy Porterfield's webinar, A to Z, her automated webinar. We did a really full-blown experience, and we saw where she needed tweaks and refinements, and we were able to give her those micro tweaks, and it improved her funnel. So again, this stuff does work. So anyway, with this, you're also getting the audit bundle and fast action bonus, just like we talked about, guys. Have a fast action bonus. Mine is that I'm in the process of building my program, the sales experience. And here's the thing about the sales experience. I firmly believe that it's, you know, that with AI with how AI is, we are going to need a better sales experience. I think that there's power in creating AI generated content or AI supported content generation, driving them into a workshop and still have that one-on-one human connection. There's just power right now of creating a better sales experience, leveraging automation and engagement. But the new automation comes with AI, and that brings a whole wonderful extra level that can help you achieve the results you want. And so that's what this program is all about. In it, I have frameworks for running mid-ticket webinars, high-ticket webinars, and this particular one, this touches on the foundation and strategy, content strategy, and it basically gives you a framework training course for being able to create content that resonates with your audience based on your messaging and drives them into becoming registrations in a webinar, or drives them into a lead magnet and things like that, right? So this program is valued at $1,000, but I'm going to give it to you for free, okay? It talks about traffic. It talks about positioning, right? And content strategy, right? But leveraging it with AI. That I'm giving to you for free when you come in, okay? So here's the main deal. You have two options. One is the professional program of EasyWebinar. Okay. That is that 250 live attendees, 500 automated attendees, unlimited live and evergreen webinars. The original price is $1,788 a year, but we're also going to be giving you that audit that is valued at $1,000. And you're going to get the fast action bonus that's also valued at $1,000. That's $3,788 of value, but you can get all of that for $1,159. So 1159, you come in, you get EasyWebinar for a year, okay? And you get access to that audit, and you get access to the training on how to get more traffic into your webinars. So again, like all of these, this is valued, actually it's valued more than $3,788, but we had to put a value on this because here's the thing, the audit alone, it can change how things are performing, right? And if you felt like you got value today from me, well, the audit, we go way beyond what I just shared, right? We go even deeper. Like, as I said, I only was able to get 3/4 of a mile down, but I want to be able to go 5 miles down for you. I want to be able to really flesh the whole thing out. And so there's that option. And that's really a great option for those of you who are not EasyWebinar customers yet, right? We onboard you with EasyWebinar. We help to create a business audit so that you are now ready to go for getting that webinar performing, right? Right now, it's like if you don't have it and you're maybe not running webinars yet, we set you up for success ahead of time, right? We try to get you to that point. So there's that. The other side of this is maybe you're an EasyWebinar customer and maybe you are just wanting to get a business audit for yourself, get that 5 miles down as I talked about, right? So if that is the case, I can give you straight away an audit bundle directly, a webinar funnel audit bundle. Again, it's not just necessarily about your webinar. Yes, for those EasyWebinar customers, this makes a ton of sense because we will go that far down and in depth on your funnel, and we will give you a full comprehensive audit that goes way beyond what I just shared. And that again, that again is only $500 when you come through. So if you guys want to come on through here, here's what you do. You go to the offer, you get access now, okay? And you can come on in. There's some questions coming in. Let me just see some of these questions. Hold on. Gee whiz, I gotta go up. Sorry, how do you do with an automated webinar, a longer runway, in case you missed this one? Yeah. Well, first let me work down from up, top to bottom from to top. Okay. Your question is, I see a couple questions on, is this with you, Casey, directly or with your team? And you get both basically. So these comments that you saw on the side here, these are from my team. They know everything about what I look for when I'm auditing a webinar. So my team is very good at knowing what it is that we need to look through. I can get on with you. Here's what we'll do. I will do a one-on-one strategy with you, okay? After my team does the first one. My team will do a strategy call. They'll build an audit bundle. They'll do an audit for you, a complete comprehensive audit. I will then look at the audit to see where the gaps are, and I'll look at the audit to see where the problem is, and then I will focus on the problem. So if it's I need to look at your webinar, I'll look at your webinar. I'll go through your webinar, and I will also then add my notes. Okay. So yes, I will, but the first one is with the team, just so you're clear, so that we can start building this out. Does that make sense? So the offer for existing customers, if you go to that page, so is just the audit. But how many of you are EasyWebinar customers and you want to get the deal on the annual package? Let me know, because I see that I just joined. Tony said I just joined earlier today. Do I qualify for the Pro Audit combo? So what did you get, Tony? Let me know, because we could probably make an offer and have it in your subscription, have it inside your subscription area, or give you a okay, you just joined Pro. Okay. Well, why don't I look? And why don't we do this? Why don't we look to see what you came in at? Okay. And I'll make a note. We also have a couple moderators here that can make a note. So Rakesh, if you're here, can you just make a note? Okay. Pro monthly plan, trial plan. Okay, you're on the trial. So if you want to come off the trial, you can do that. Okay, your induction call tomorrow. Okay, got you. Okay. Angelina, I see. Okay, yep, you got the Pro Lifetime from BBD. So here's the thing: for those EasyWebinar customers that have a plan, that are happy with their plan, just get the audit. And by getting the audit, we do a full comprehensive audit on your business, right? We dig into your messaging, your positioning, your offer, the webinar, the funnel. Okay, we go through all those details. So what you would do is you would just pick up the audit for $497. Okay, just $497 for the audit. You get two sessions. So you get personalized strategy and analysis and recommendations. So you get 2 webinar performance calls, one with my team and then one with me. And then I'm still also rolling in, by the way, the sales experience bonus module 1, all about getting the traffic and helping you get traffic through content and create the content leveraging some of AI. Okay. So does that make sense? Okay, good. So Tony, you can come in there. Tony, if you click on that link, inside that link, what we'll do is I'll have him merge your trial with this one, right? So you don't have to create a new account. So right, Rakesh, we want to probably do that. You got it? Okay, cool. Let me see. Let me go back. Angelina says, I'm already a customer, by the way. Customer support is great. Thank you so much. Which is why I'm on this call. Okay, got you. And okay, got it. Thank you. Do you think we will still another session to finish the review? Yeah, I don't think we can finish that now. I think we've unfortunately, I love doing these, guys, absolutely, and we can only do a couple at a time, if any, and we're not going full deep. But I hope this was valuable. I certainly enjoyed it, and I want to do more. Okay. Where I'm touching on some of these, and I think I have these people on this docket. And would you want me to do this again? If this was fun, if you enjoyed this, would this make sense to be a part of this again? Yes, we will be doing more of these. Mia mentioned to Charlene. Okay, Angelina is saying, yes, lots of good tips. I'm setting up my live webinar. I wanted to be here to see what I need to be doing. Super helpful. Yeah, and again, if you haven't set up a webinar, getting that audit, actually, if you don't have EasyWebinar, getting EasyWebinar and getting an audit is a perfect way to get you set up the right way. Sort of start in, on the proper foot, so that you can have a roadmap and plan before you jump in. The whole idea of preparation, what did Abraham Lincoln spent 6 hours sharpening his axe before he chopped down that tree, right? It's all about, getting clear as to what you're going to be creating. And by then creating it, you're creating it faster, you're creating it with more clarity, and you're closing more sales and deals once you come through, right? So again, if you're not If you don't have EasyWebinar, if you don't have even a webinar up yet, still pick up the professional and audit combo, because getting on with the team and us getting clear on your business and what you're trying to achieve is so beneficial for you. May I check if I can have the review document? Yes, you can have the review document. This is my first time in your session, Casey. It's been great, really valuable. I'm not sure what the etiquette is. Would it be okay for you to share feedback, the feedback doc you created, and a replay of this session? My head is overloaded with ideas off the back of everything you said. Many thanks. Do you run these sessions often? Yeah, I'm gonna try to run these more often. Again, this is the first one. Actually, it's not the first one. I ran one of these a couple months ago, and then we weren't able to get back on. But I would like to do more, and if this resonates with you, we will try to do more. But if you are ready to, you want to skip the line, you want to jump in, again, even when I do these, I can't get through everybody. Like, I would have loved to have gone deeper with Natalie. I would have loved to have gone deeper with Monterey, and of course, jumping in with Jeffrey, Charlene, Jim, and all the rest. Like, we had 17 submissions just from today. So again, I want to be able to do that. But yeah, coming in and getting these audits, that will help to guarantee that you have a slot, and we're actually attacking the problems before they happen, or while you're in this frustration mode, maybe, while you're like, I can't figure this out. Because what happens if you keep on this track of not figuring it out, you're going to think that this strategy doesn't work. And if by thinking this strategy doesn't work, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to focus on other strategies that also will require the same amount of attention that this one does too, right? And so it just puts more time on getting the result. Okay, we want to get you the result fast. That's the goal. If you're already in the strategy, this strategy works. You need to refine some of the strategy points, tweak it, improve it, and we're here to do that for you and help. Okay. Gosh, guys, moderating, Mia and Rakesh, are there any other questions that you found popping out that I could support people on? And how many of you clicked the green Get Access Now? I just want to see. How many of you clicked Get Access Now? Let me know. Put it in the chat if you've clicked it. I just want to make sure it's working. Everybody's coming in. Okay. I clicked it. Okay, cool. Cool. Are there any questions? Any questions that I have not answered that you guys, that you have questions on still? Can I answer anything for you? Let me know. Good to know other like-minded. How do we create a runway for our webinars? So that's easy, because inside EasyWebinar, you can schedule a workshop, right? So let's say that I were to, here, I'll go in and show you. So with that, you would go into EasyWebinar. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I need to go into my account. So let me see if this is my account. Yeah, let me pull this over 1 second. Log in. Okay. So when you're creating this, let me just share my screen again. Okay, when you're creating a webinar, like let's say this one, this is set as a live webinar. Look, my live webinar is going right now. Check it out. Here it is right here at the top. But this is a live webinar. Now, when you're scheduling your webinar, edit schedule, you can choose to have your webinar into the future, right? Of course you can, because this is a live webinar. But let me show you what it looks like when you do an automated webinar. So when you're doing an automated webinar like this, how you can schedule this is you click Edit Schedule. And with automated webinars, we give a lot of different time, time options, right? And a good automated webinar with a book a call, yeah, should definitely be 10%. Can I get a printed copy of my audit? You do not have to do it today. Yeah, I will. We will try to get that over to you for sure. However, that audit is not the complete audit. So if you guys want a complete audit, definitely come into the audit offer. That's going to give you that that complete experience. So there's a few things. Just in time, we've talked about this. This is where you can have a webinar served in the next 15, 30, 45 minutes or an hour. Instant replay. So you can turn this off and just turn this on, and this will have just straight away right into the workshop. You can think of this as an on-demand webinar. So you could say, watch this. You could change this text too. Watch this on-demand webinar, right? And then the recurring schedule is where basically you set up the future recurring schedule. These are different options. So when you're trying to just do a runway, maybe you want to turn off the instant replay, right? And you're just wanting to do that runway that I mentioned. Yeah. So what you can do instead of having it daily, well, you can set it daily. You can have one session. Let me show you one session, and you can set it to, let's say, 1 p.m. right? Now that you have that session, here's what you do. To be able to block the days, okay? You block the days, basically. Check it out. You go into your settings. And first off, you can show like future sessions if you want, right? Or you can show only the next available session. I'm just going to do the next available session. And I'm going to see blocks 2 days into a webinar start time, or 3 days or 4 days. I'm going to block by 4 days. Okay. You can also set up blackout dates, which would mean that you can set like holiday times where you don't want your webinar running, right? So like I can choose to not have it on over the holidays, over Christmas, right? So it feels like it's way more live. So then I update the schedule. And I actually don't know what the reg page looks like. It might not be a proper reg page. So, but here, check it out. So here, the next session is in that many days, like we said, and it's Sunday, the 14th, right? So 4 days, because that's how many days I blocked by, right? If you come to this page tomorrow, it will show Monday, the 14th, right? And remember, this 1 p.m., actually, I can set this to be in my attendees time zone. This is actually set in my attendees time zone. So if you were to come to this page, it would show at 1 p.m. your time zone. If you're in Asia, you're in anywhere, it's going to be your time zone. And this is going to be 4 days from now for you, not just me. So that is how you set up an automated runway with EasyWebinar. Okay. And again, these options that you can have off of your automated webinars are super valuable. Like, so I can turn on an instant replay, plus I can have multiple times, right? And let's say, so I want to have a 1, 2 p.m., probably more like 3, and then a 5 p.m., right? Okay. So those are my 3 times, right? But now I'll go into my settings again, and I'm going to show display next 3 available sessions plus the instant replay. Okay, and yeah, so this only comes, guys, when you have the professional program. If you are, that's why I'm suggesting for you to get the professional that I'm giving at a discount, because with Pro, you only get live. You don't get this. This is using Evergreen webinar stuff, right? This is for you if you want to get professional. Professional will give you the live webinar experience. It will give you the automated, full automated what we call automated gold experience. That's what I want for you. Okay. That's why I'm making this offer. That's why I'm giving you that like 70% discount so that you take action on it so you can use these things. So anyway, this is, so you check it out. Now I update the schedule and I'll go to the reg page. And now there's many options, right? So there's this watch on this on-demand workshop, which they can do right now, or they have these 3 sessions that are happening on Sunday, right? Because I blocked by 4 days, but those sessions will still show up, right? Depending on how many you've decided to display, because I have display next 3 available sessions plus the instant replay. So you see how you can really modify and tweak some of these things? You can either have, this is the one that probably makes sense for an instant replay and display next available session sort of experience strategy. So like update the schedule here and then go to the reg page. And like, this is what I would do. I would have one that they can consume now. Okay. And then one that is in the future. And then that future one can have that longer runway with those 3 videos, indoctrination videos, just more meat before coming to the workshop. This one will drive them straight away into the event without even going to the thank you page. This one will take them to the thank you page, to the event, the pre-event page, and then the event page. Does that make sense? So let me see what kind of questions you guys have. If I don't have an option to block, yeah, we talked about that, right, Iffy? So I'm thinking of giving bonuses to people who show up and stay until the end of the workshop, but only if they book a call. Is that something that works well as an incentive in your experience? Yeah. I think that the call, when you set up a call, you don't need a bribe for the call. The intention of the call is for them to have the extreme clarity. Like they need to know that when you get on this call, you're going to have the clarity of whether this program can work for you or not. What I would say though, here's an idea, Tony. What if you had sort of like a sheet that they filled out on the workshop, right? And that sheet helped them to create the clarity, right? Like it's like, oh shoot, and did I even give you guys that? Did you guys get that document that I put out in the beginning? It was a core message document. Let me see, I think it's right here. Core message doc right here. So let me just put it back in here. So the core message doc is right there. So you click it, right? And what it will do, and you should be able to just access it, but let me put it in here. Okay. Use the formula below to draft your core message and then refine with AI, Casey. Well, they didn't. Okay, so formula. I help who get results using method, right? So like this is very small, very simple, but as an example, who is your audience, right? You're filling that information in. Result, what transformation do they want or need? You know, you write that in. Method, what's your framework name or unique approach? You fill that in. And the final core message, make more of like a 2-minute like sort of messaging around who you serve, how the results you get, and the method you use, right? So it's like pulling them all together. So if you were to fill that out during this workshop, and I put it in here, but I didn't ask you to fill it out, right? But let's say I did that at the beginning of the workshop and I asked you to fill it out. By the way, Refine AI, Casey, is basically using my Delphi, Casey. 1 second, I'll give that to you as well. Delphi, Casey, here it is. Copy, let me put this in. So you can talk to this Casey. This Casey will coach you. This, I just put it in the chat as well. So this Casey it's an AI version of me, but it is I've loaded it with 4 million pieces of content that where it knows everything there is about webinars, but it also knows a lot about offers and things like that. You can have a chat with him, and you can ask him to help you fill out that form, right? So there is that. But the part going back to your question about should you have something as a bonus, this is what I suggest. Have them fill out this in their workshop or some variation of that would work for you. And then at the end of the workshop, say, when you come into our strategy call, I'm going to help you with refining this. So actually probably don't have it as refined, Casey, right? Don't do this, but say, answer these questions. Tell me what you think they are. And then when we get on a call, we will go through this and we will fill in these gaps for you so that you'll know, even on our first call, who your audience is, the result you get, the method, and your final core message, even before maybe they become a client, right? Angelina, thank you for coming in. She said, Casey, I purchased the audit. I have not even started to create my webinar. Is there a roadmap that I should follow before my audit call? Since I haven't started, I want to make the best of my time on my audit call. Yeah, what I would suggest is you schedule the audit call, and we can probably get you into my Elite Webinar Mastery program. Again, this is something that's going to be a part of the sales experience, but what I think we could do is maybe get you into the foundations course of that, the Elite Webinar Mastery, as an add-on to get in there right away. But then also scheduled call and getting on to talk to us about your business, that will help us to know how we help you to build out basically your webinar going forward. Okay. That worksheet approach will work for me. That's great, Tony. Okay. So Angelina, high five. Thank you for coming in. Who else has come into here? Who let me know. I'd love to know who's come into this offer. Did you also pick up, by the way, which one did you get? Did you get the full-blown EasyWebinar offer, or did you just get the audit? Tell me which one you got. Yeah, and there's the link right there for you guys. For those who've not come in yet, yeah, and for those who have not come in yet, just got here. Will there be a replay? Oh, hey, Drew, how's it going? Not sure about the replay, but thank you so much. I must go, but I appreciate it and you. Thank you. Thanks for coming in, Iffy. So if you haven't joined and gotten your own audit yet, or access to EasyWebinar, now would be a perfect time, because this also off the webinar includes, as I said, my sales experience program, the first module which helps with traffic and helping to drive content and how to create content, by the way, with AI. If you haven't done that yet, to drive traffic into your webinar, right? So that's the fast action bonus you get when you come in. Again, that's valued at $1,000. Yours for free when you come in today. So again, if you haven't come in yet, are there any final questions before that fast action bonus is gone? Because it's for action takers off this webinar right now. That's what we're doing. But so yeah, so before we go, because I'd say we have probably 5 minutes left of this workshop. So if there's any other questions, or if there are any, if you're in doubt, or if you're on the fence, anything I can help you with. I understand the idea of not having a webinar set up yet, but I love that Angelina took action, because we can, as I said, help her in the beginning with all of this by giving her a blueprint that she can take on and achieve when building the webinar, right? And whether we help her with those phases or not, we at least help her to get clear on her core message, help her with her offer if she doesn't already have that running, and really dial in those pieces before digging into a workshop. Again, I can't guarantee the replay, but definitely if we do a replay, I will say that the fast action bonus won't be available. And again, this is my program, the new program that I'm building. You know, I've had a program in the past, Elite Webinar Mastery, which is still there, and it's the A to Z guide for webinars. But also I had a coaching and a mentorship program that was called Fast Track, and Sales Experience is an extension of that Fast Track program, and I'm still working on building that out. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a lot of the Fast Track experiences into that program, and Sales Experience is going to be a mentorship with not just me coaching, but other coaches as well. I just want to put that out there. That's going to be something that we're going to be doing. And if you have already joined the Sales Experience School group, that's good. What we're trying to do, we want to be able to help with the sales experience in that group, right? So ask questions, communicate, tell if you came to this workshop, please go into the sales experience, mention what you gained out of the workshop. Maybe you didn't gain anything. I'd like to know that too. But if you gained something or not, please go into there and let me know, because we're still going to put some more goodies in there. By the way, I have more little things that I want to seed in there for you guys to help you continue to get clarity. Book my call. Super excited to get this webinar in motion. It's been on my to-do list for 2 years. ADHD diagnosed. LOA. Yes, I totally understand. Can I join the school group? Yeah, it's right there below. You can see it. Just join that group. Right now, it's a free group. You know, I do have a blurb that says it's sometime in the future we might make it paid, but at this point, it's free. And if you come in now, it still will be free for you. Okay. So yeah, come on into that group. And you know, if you enjoyed something like this, we'll be doing more notifications there in the group, all about the same stuff. Okay. And again, my goal for you is to learn the steps to create these things and also leverage the software that's going to help you to be the backbone of your sales and marketing. Okay. EasyWebinar will do that. You have free access to EasyWebinar Starter Pack and exclusive content from the EasyWebinar Summit too, by the way. So we have those two things are already inside the school community. EasyWebinar Summit is a wonderful summit we ran with beautiful experts, people that use our software like Amy Porterfield, James Wedmore, Susie Moore, and several others. Janelle Stewart. Just we have a few people in there. Takesha Williams. Just a lot of people that are doing some great stuff inside there. So, okay, I think that's it for me, everybody. Again, any other questions before we go? That's been about 5 minutes. We have 1 minute left of the 5. So I just want to say thanks again for coming in. And you know, wherever you are in your journey, we want to be here to help. And I hope this was a helpful event. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside. Okay. So again, if you haven't come through, feel free to do so now. And let me just say thank you to all those who are here: Laverne, Ian, Brian, Tim, Angela, Barbara, Sharon, Crystal, Corinne, Terry, Steve, Alex, Chris, Tony, Kirti, Amber, Angel, Takesha, Takesha's here, Joanne, Louise, Natalie, Dimitro, and the rest. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate you being here. And I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.